All right. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another Basement Ready Arcade podcast. We have a full house this evening. Full house, and we have a great show for you. This is our Xbox E3 2018 preview prediction show. And we have a newcomer, a first time special guest, and we have some alum returning to share their thoughts on the Xbox E3 2018 show. And first and foremost, let's go ahead and introduce our guest of the evening, Mr. Boomstick XL. What is going on, man?
Hey, man, listen, first and foremost, I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for having me on the show, but especially the Xbox E3 show, because I have a lot to say, a lot of predictions, and I'm really excited to be here. Thank you guys a lot. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. It's our pleasure. Our pleasure. Happy you could join us this evening. And returning fellow BRAP alum, now does game reviews for the Inner Circle Network, is also a co-host on a few of their podcasts. Sam Tolbert's in the house. What's going on, Sam?
Hey guys, it's been a long time, but it's the usual crowd and a couple of guests. Good to be here. Good to talk gaming with y'all. How y'all doing?
Good, man. Great to have you back on, man.
Yeah, welcome back, Sam.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And we have another returning guest, or I should say alum, or co-host, when he can make it. We have Mr. Megative from SDGC. What's going on, Megs?
Hi, how's everyone doing? Really nice to be here on Basement Radio Arcade Podcast.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh my!
Enrique, you sound drunk.
Yes, I have. I took some medication before the podcast. I'm not gonna lie.
Just kidding.
No, actually, I took some NyQuil because I've been under the weather. The allergies here in this area have been killing me. By the way, it's terrible here in the DMV for me. So if I sound a little, off, NyQuil. I'll blame it on the NyQuil.
You are not alone because I'm on NyQuil as well.
Oh, man, nothing like getting sick before the summer. That sucks.
That's the worst, man. It's the worst. And the pollen here in the DMV has been terrible. So, well, gentlemen, we have like I said, we have a lot to talk about. If you missed our previous podcast, we did Sony preview prediction show last week, and then the week before we discussed Nintendo's preview prediction show for E3 2018. So you can go back and catch those just in case you missed them. But I want to get everyone's, before we get into the predictions and whatnot, I kind of wanted to get everyone's thoughts on, I guess, your opinion or thoughts on Microsoft's kind of their current status, if you will, kind of where you see them right now heading into E3. And Boone, why don't we throw this question out to you since you're the guest of the evening? Where do you see Microsoft right now coming into E3?
Well, here's the thing. I'm very open about gladly and proudly being fortunate enough to support all three consoles. I enjoy my Switch as much as I enjoy my PlayStation 4, and those two particular consoles are for their exclusives, whereas the Xbox is my main go-to system because, I like the Elite controller. And I like Xbox Live, and of course, most of my friends list, people on my friends list are there. Microsoft is in a position, in my personal, and professional opinion, with they're walking in with their backs to the wall, because you have to look at this world, especially the gaming world, deals with what have you done for me lately. Mm-hmm. And I totally get that because we are consumers. At the end of the day, we want what we want. And sometimes some people want stuff that's beyond the star's reach. And then some things like, I don't know, Crackdown 3, I kind of want it, right? So here's the issue. You look back at 2017 for Xbox, and it was the only saving grace for the entire year is the fact that the X came out. Right, like, okay, PUBG, I get it, right? People like it. I don't really care for PUBG. I supported it and bought it, but I played maybe 4 hours of it, and it's just not my bag, right? You have Super Lucky's Tale. I happen to really like that game, but it's not going to sell your X. And the only other games that we had were Cuphead, which was fantastic, and you had Halo Wars, which fell flat. And then, of course, Forza Motorsport 7, which I'm more of a Horizon kind of a guy. So for me, as an Xbox fan, 2017 was a letdown. So, okay, now we move into 2018, and what are we supposed to get, guys? Before E3, before the end of the spring, we're supposed to get Sea of Thieves, comes out, basically has no content, right? State of Decay 2, I'm going to be completely honest. When I saw the reviews, I was very disappointed, and I'm 45 hours deep into the game. I think it's fantastic. I definitely believe that the media overblown the scores in this game, and of course now we're hearing Crackdown 3 delayed till 2019. So in my opinion, I think they're literally limping into E3. Now, what they have to do to save face with all the diehard fans like me, they need to take those 2 hours and melt my face off. And what would do that? Well, I mean, they have to show new IPs, and I'm thinking I want to say at least 3, but I think that's a stretch. So I'd be happy with 2, but you cannot come this fall and tell me that, okay, we have, marketing deals with Tomb Raider and a few other games, and then you're going to give me Forza Horizon 4, and that's going to be Christmas. Well, you know what? Then it's going to be back-to-back years of L's, and I think that's unacceptable as fans.
Boom, would you even be happy with even showing things out, even if it's a new IP, if it's, a year out, 2 years out, whatever the case may be? Even them showing,
Yes.
we hear people talk about roadmaps.
Right, and I'm big on that. I'm big on the roadmap. You see, that I understand why Microsoft, they're a little gun shy because of several cancellations, but see, the thing that you have to admire about Sony is that they sell their fans hope, right? Even if you have to wait for God of War for 4 years, when it comes out, it's a masterpiece, right? When Spider-Man was announced and they showed that teaser trail and it was delay after delay after delay, you still know that immaculate masterpiece will be coming. You know that Sony's going to look. Here's a perfect example: the zombie game. What's the zombie game? Yes. Okay, that's been delayed so many times, but you know something? I'm really hyped for that game, and I don't care if it comes out. Even if it comes out next fall, Sony has hooked me as a fan. They showed me enough and said, okay, fan, this is what you got. See, Microsoft's problem is that they're getting dumped on by the media left and right, and they're not showing us anything. So third party is best on the X. You know what? I'm old school, guys. Your first party is supposed to be the crown of what you're wearing. The jewels are the third party stuff that you kind of put in after you're wearing the crown. And I think that's what's missing from Microsoft. Yes, I think that they absolutely, like Fable 4, they have to show something. If we go into E3, we don't see any Fable, or we don't see whatever there are other teams are working on. Like, we don't see a Gears trailer, we don't see a Halo 6 trailer. Dude, it's not going to be good for the company. I'm sorry.
So I can tell you this right now. So I know quite a bit about Microsoft's E3 this year, and I'm sure Sam does as well. I can tell you right off the bat, don't expect any new IPs because you're not going to get them. Sam, I'm sure you've heard the same. But there will be no new IPs. I have heard that Crackdown will not be there, which does not surprise me because the game's going to be delayed. So why would you show it there?
Yeah, I agree.
I have heard that Fable will not be there. I don't know if that's true. Or not. The Gears spinoff this year, it is going to be exactly that, a spinoff. It's not going to be a mainline. It's not. You don't go in expecting Gears 5 because that's not going to happen.
You know what? I would be okay with that because I really enjoyed Judgment. So if we do get at least a new Gears game, at least it's something.
I have heard it's going to be an XCOM style strategy game.
Yes, I've heard that also.
Well, I was about to say, don't expect it like Judgment because it's not going to be a proper third person, which to be fair is perfectly fine.
Now I can tell you this much: you guys know me. I don't subscribe to the media bias thing. I believe Microsoft is in a stew of their own cooking.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
I think that and here's where I think Microsoft runs into a problem. Maybe you guys disagree, but I think this was supposed to be the most important. Right now, Microsoft has more to prove than they have since 2013.
Yes, I agree.
And I've got bad news for anybody going in expecting this to be an Xbox Renaissance. It's not going to be. It is not going to be that at all.
So what was the purpose of using their own facilities and having a 2-hour conference? And saying it's going to be the biggest E3 yet. I mean,
Phil Spencer did say that
it's not going to be.
And Aaron Greenberg's like, we're bringing it.
Yes,
Sam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I mean, I'm.
Well, so going through it, here's the thing. I think you're right in a couple of ways. New IPs, no. However, what I will say is I think Daryl Gallagher's new studio is going to be confirmed there, and they probably are working on a new IP, but I wouldn't expect to see that like anytime soon.
No.
At all. That's a long ways off. So that's the only thing I kind of disagree with, but even then it's more on a technicality. Simply because it's not going to be here for a really long time. Because why would it? They're still building the team out there in Santa Monica. Mm-hmm. Crackdown 3, I've heard very conflicting things, and I'm just going to keep my mouth shut in terms of whether it's going to be there or whether it's not, because I don't know who to believe.
Yeah, I've heard. I've heard that it's not going to be there, and that would not surprise me considering it's going to be delayed.
Basically, yeah, I would flip a coin and say heads, tails, Crackdown 3 will be there or it won't.
Yeah.
One way or another, though, I do think it's getting delayed to 2019. Unfortunately, though, I think that's for the better.
I have heard that the only reason that game is coming out at all at this point is because they know that they cannot afford another cancellation. I now, granted, this will give them time to fine-tune the game, which, quite frankly, needs it desperately. That's why you haven't seen it yet, because the dev cycle for this game has been nothing but a disaster. I mean, they had 5 teams working on this game at one point.
Gee whiz.
The game has been nothing but a headache for Microsoft. And I'm telling you right now, had Scalebound, and take this for what you will, but had Scalebound been a success, had the game published and been great, Crackdown 3 would have been canceled.
Wow. That's a shame, because that's a fantastic franchise. And it's funny, and I'm not making this up. I mean, you guys can look for the interviews. Phil Spencer has gone on record not only saying that he loves Crackdown, but it's one of his favorite franchises. When you look at what has gone on in the last couple of years, again, where they were in 2013, they're not that same company, and I'm very happy for that, because they were really they were hated by everyone, including the fans. But how a company with this amount of money failed to, I mean, like we talk about it, they put all of this effort into the Xbox One X, and I love it. I think it's a fantastic system. It does everything it probably should have done from the beginning, the original Xbox One, right? That's what we wanted. What we have now is what we wanted in 2013. But it just makes you, for a company this big, they're
hubris.
They don't really look too far into the future. Why weren't these new games being made when you were making the X? It's just they seem so small-sighted at times.
Honestly, a lot of this has to do with funding.
Yes, I've heard that. Yes,
the Xbox. So people on other podcasts like to say, "Oh, Microsoft is the company with the endless pockets," which is true. Xbox does not have endless pockets. Xbox is a division of Microsoft.
Correct.
And guess what happens when divisions don't produce? You don't get money. And so in order to make games, and this is where I feel like some people come down on Microsoft a little unfairly, when they say, "Oh, well, there's no games." Well, you need money in order to fund first-party development. And a lot of this is due to the fact that they're just not getting the money because, quite frankly, Xbox is not, it's not selling poorly, but it's not selling great.
Yeah, let me heard the same thing that other people who have sources with Microsoft would say about Meyerson.
Yeah, he was definitely the human roadblock.
Oh yeah, no, he was blocking them at every opportunity.
Yeah. But let me ask you guys something, because we talk about funding, we talk about success. John, you brought up a great point. If you're not doing well, your department's probably not going to get funding. But they were doing well during the time of they were doing very well with the 360, and I feel like this problem with first party goes back even before this console generation.
I don't know about that, man. Because I mean, back in, here's a good example, right? If you want to talk about exclusive games, where the fuck is Left 4 Dead?
Yes, exactly.
Where
doesn't Valve own that IP?
Yeah,
but they're good friends with them, and
they have a very close relationship with Valve.
Yeah,
that's kind of my point, though. I think even last console generation, they relied a lot on
second and third parties, like I've been saying for 2 years.
And I think a large part of the problem is like, look, and people, I have said this before on this podcast, and people always get mad at me when I say it, but Halo and Gears are not the franchises they used to be.
They're not. I'm sorry. I 100% agree with you.
And they need new blood.
Yes,
new blood. They need, and for whatever reason, Quantum Break, because was mediocre. That's why they didn't sell. But Sunset Overdrive was a fantastic game. I maintain that is their finest console exclusive this generation. I love Sunset Overdrive, and it sold like 5 copies.
And I think I think for me, like the 3 games that for me have been the games of Xbox this generation for me have been Sunset Overdrive, Ori, and Cuphead.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it was funny because no one actually realized, a lot of the people in general didn't realize Sunset Overdrive was so good until it was put into games with gold for free. And then people played it and was like, oh, this is actually a really good game. I was like, yeah, but where were you when they were selling it? And maybe, Microsoft would have, a Sunset Overdrive 2 coming out within a year or two, and not Sony getting an amazing Spider-Man made by the same company.
Yep. So, and by the way, there's a huge, and people are all over Twitter talking about this. So, there was a guy who, the same guy who talked about Fallout 76 a few days ago.
Yes.
When they announced it, he said, just wait till they announce Sunset Overdrive 2. It's not coming. That's bullshit. Yeah, it's Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive 2 is not a thing. Microsoft passed on that a long time ago because the first one didn't make any money. And when games don't make money, they don't get sequels. And I can tell you unequivocally that there is no Sunset Overdrive 2. Period. That's not happening. That's the reason that Spider-Man exists, because there is no Sunset Overdrive 2.
Yep. Hey, and Enrique, to go back to your point about first party, and this goes back the last gen. It's actually funny because Microsoft started this generation off with more dev teams than they have now. I mean, they completely shut down Lionhead and Ensemble. And Ensemble was a great studio that specialized in the RTS, RTS strategy games, and they shut them down too. So they
were shut down last gen.
It went backwards.
That was back in 2009.
Honestly, I don't know. Part of me thinks that Microsoft doesn't really know what to do with the Xbox division. They can't shut it down. I mean, they're not going to shut it down. But I don't think that Microsoft has the confidence in that division that they used to. Because I mean, look at it this way. Right now, worldwide, it's estimated that at league. So we know the numbers are around 29 to 30 million worldwide for Xbox, right? When you're looking at almost 80 million for the PS4, I mean that's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. That's insane. Yeah. I mean, the last time we saw a split like this was the fucking original PlayStation and the Dreamcast.
Yes.
And we all know how that turned out. Now, I'm not saying that Xbox is on the chopping block. I don't think it is, but I think that Microsoft going into the next generation, starting now at E3, I think you are going to see some changes across the board, and I don't know if every Xbox fan is going to be on board with them.
I actually have a question for the panel, and I kind of really, being that this is an Xbox, discussion that we're having, let me just ask you guys, and anybody in the chat, of course. Let's say, for instance, we all walk away from E3 2018 literally hanging our heads in disappointment. Like we expected, again, we're not making this up. Phil Spencer, it's going to be our biggest E3 in the company's history. His words, not mine. The hell's the guy's name? My God. Aaron Greenberg just said, we're bringing it. we're not holding back.
Right? I wish they wouldn't do that. God.
Yeah, and again, it's these are their words, and I didn't tweet this for them because I don't work for Microsoft. This is what they're doing. So as a fan, I'm like, okay, the motor's revving. We're getting ready. We're going to burn out. We're going to run into E3, and all of our wishes and dreams are going to come true. As fans, everybody on this panel, if we walk away from E3 2018 hanging our heads in disappointment and disgust, is it time for change at the top? Does Phil Spencer have to go at this point?
Well, so that's a tough question, right? Like, I really like Phil Spencer.
He's a gentleman. There's no doubt about it.
He's a super nice guy, but you also, I mean, you need to be able to run a successful business. And so far, under his leadership, the ship hasn't been righted. Like people say, "Oh, I used to think that the ship was being righted." I don't think that anymore.
And well, I think he did at a point. Like they definitely changed some of the narrative because, like Boom said, 2013, 2014, it was like everyone was like head spinning, like what's going on here, and the messaging was like all over the place. So I think the one thing he did do was try to get like a concise message going. Whether you agreed with the message or you liked with the direction it was going, at least some of the messaging was being cleaned up a bit.
So, E, do you agree with Boob that maybe, or John, maybe there's a need for a change of top? If we leave E3, we're like, oh my god,
no.
This is kind of maybe.
No, I don't think so at all. I think at this point, you just got to ride out the gen. You know what I mean?
I agree.
You have to. You take the L, you know what I mean? You learn from your mistakes and you bounce back. It's just like, if you correlate this to sports or anything like that, you keep changing the coach every year. What result do you expect to get?
The Cleveland Browns.
Well, and not only that, I'll kind of build off of what he's saying there. The reality is, okay, I have I'm very split in my opinion on how to handle this E3 for them because I think you're going to see the DNA of changes. I think you're going to see the very, very, very slight foundations of some things that are happening. Like, for example, Rare is opening up a new team that'll eventually be grown into a new studio. I've heard the Coalition is doing the same thing. You have the big team they're building in Santa Monica, but that's the building blocks. This gen is over with as far as they're concerned. There will be some games. There will be some stuff that comes out. Ori and the Will of the Wisp is one of my most anticipated games, like, period. It's at the top of my list because it looks wonderful, and the first one was a masterpiece.
And that's also all there is.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist, man. I'm sorry.
I know.
I mean, are we gonna get a new Crimson Skies? Are we gonna get a Mech Assault?
Nope.
Wow.
Well, here's the question.
Those are games that you see at the beginning of next gen.
That's what I was trying to get to is as far as the big guns are concerned, as far as any significant investments, I think they're more concerned with the next gen already because they know they're in the end game of this one. They got to grit their teeth.
Yep.
At the same time, I want to be very clear about something. If people say, well, I'm not putting up with that, I just want to get a PlayStation or, a Switch, I wouldn't blame you. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. If you're not interested in the games at this point, go where the games are.
I think this gen, we've heard about the Gears game and things like that. It's going to end similar to how last gen ended. You end it with those one-off games, and you saved the big mainline series for next gen. So that's when you kick off Gears. It makes no sense to put a Gears 5 and a Halo 6 on this box.
No,
and clarify for this gen. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it's kind of like how, like, in the NBA game, when you've been blown out, you take your starters out the game in the fourth quarter. Just like, what's the purpose of keeping my guys out here and potentially getting an injury?
Yes,
we already lost.
Yeah.
Save it for the next game.
Here's the thing. Like, I want to touch back on what B just said. Is like, you don't put that Gears out, for this generation. But I mean, they just launched a new console that's supposed to be the most powerful console, like, ever. So it's like you kind of like go with this thing of everyone keeps saying, well, if you're not happy with what's out there now, you just got to give it time. It takes time to make games. It's going to be 2 or 3 years. So are we going to be talking about a new box?
So here's what you need to do, right? I think that sales of the Xbox One X versus, for example, the Nintendo Switch have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that innovation trumps visuals every time.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time. I have said that from Jump Street, and I will continue to say it until I'm blue in the face. And I think I would not surprise me, or at least I hope, there are some very intricate discussions going on at Microsoft right now about what to do with the next Xbox, right? Because after this E3, I guarantee you people are going to be looking at their Xboxes like I look at my Xbox and think, why? Like, why did I buy this? Like, I bought an Xbox a couple months ago. It's the first time I've owned one this generation, right? Bought my Xbox. I played Sea of Thieves for like 3 hours. I was like, no. And I've turned it on once since. Like, I just don't use it because I don't have a reason to. Part of that is because I'm already just, I've had a PlayStation since PlayStation 1. I'm deeply invested in this, ecosystem. I've got all my trophies. I don't want to leave that behind. And I love my Switch. The Switch is my favorite console this generation, period. Because it's so innovative. I can take my console games wherever I want, and I don't have a need for an Xbox. And I'm one of those guys who owns a PS4, and I bought my Xbox for Xbox exclusives. Now, given how I don't really care about Halo or Gears, what else do I have for me? That's going back to our conversation about they need to fucking drop Halo and Gears and do something else. Do something else. Like, I don't think Dreams is going to sell well on PS4, but at least it's something that we haven't seen before.
It's different. Yes, I agree.
And it looks interesting. I'll probably buy it. It looks fascinating. Like, Detroit Become Human. There is nothing like that on the Xbox. There's nothing like Until Dawn on the Xbox. There's nothing like God of War.
I was just going to say that, yeah. There's nothing like God of War on the Xbox.
Where the fuck are these games? And which is why this E3 is so particularly frustrating for me. It's because I've got all these amazing experiences on other consoles, and I don't feel like anybody had, like, Horizon Zero Dawn. There's nothing like that
on Xbox. It. Yeah. Listen, you can go one further. You brought up the Switch. I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but is there anything like Zelda on the Xbox?
No.
I put 127 hours into that game, beat it twice, and would go back to it right now.
I've got 150 hours, and I'm on my second playthrough now.
I just like sitting in front of a pot cooking for 3 hours.
I love that cooking animation. Right? Noise is one of my favorite things about that game.
Right. So, and then so you could say, okay, well, Zelda's a little long in the tooth. I don't know. And then you bring out the new Mario. Dude, I think that is one of the finest Mario games outside of the one in outer space.
It's better than Galaxy. Yeah, it's better than Galaxy.
Yeah. So what you're saying is there's nothing wrong with the long-running IPs as long as they do spin-offs.
Yeah, as long as they do spin-offs. No. As long as they innovate. As long as they innovate.
Right. I literally just said that. I literally just said as long as they provide innovation.
And that's what I was going to. I didn't hear you. That's what I was going to touch on. And here's the funny thing. I can remember going on Twitter one day and saying that and kind of being jumped on by guys like, why would you change it? The multiplayer in Halo is great. And I'm not just talking about changing it. I'm saying you need to evolve it and grow it, right? And Sam, we've had this talk before. I said there's value in Halo, there's value in the Gears IP. There's still value in those IP, but it's just the formula that they're running on has become stagnant. And it's the same thing I said about God of War with Ascension. I was like, I don't want another one of these. I need something different. And wow, did we get a different?
Right. I actually said that in a tweet, and I got kind of booed for it. I said, it would be great if they took Gears of War, because I'm fascinated with the world that Gears is in. And unfortunately, we don't really get a chance to see that because it's really kind of like, okay, you're running down this corridor. I can go find a dog tag in this little corner, but then I have to continue down this path. I said, could you just imagine if they made it semi-open world? I'm not saying make it out Fallout 4. I'm saying make it kind of like God of War, where there was, different points on the map where there was missions that you did not have to do to beat the main game. But if you wanted to go help this group of survivors, or you wanted to go find the missing COG soldiers or something, how freaking awesome would that be to be able to look at the world of Gears from a different set of glasses? And people were like, boo, don't change the Gears.
So that ties directly into my next point. I was thinking this just as you were saying it, right? Like, first of all, like, you've got Halo and Gears of War, and I feel like every Xbox E3 this generation has just been like, Gears of War, and it's just like, like that. It's like, okay, that's great. But I don't think, like, 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 the thing is I think that Xbox is listening to the wrong fans.
I agree.
When people say we just want more Gears, we want more Halo, don't give them that. You're not going to grow your base if you do that. Like it's like it's fine to keep the fans you do have happy. That's great. But if you keep catering to those same fans and you don't pull in anybody else, you're not going to grow. And that is the problem. People say, yeah, there's nothing better than Gears, baby. And it's like, yes, there is. There are other experiences out there that belong on this box. Ori and the Blind Forest is a great example. Ori and the Blind Forest was a fantastic example. Yeah, exactly. Ori was a great fucking experience, and it's finally getting the sequel it deserves, right? Do more games. Ori had heart, it had soul, it had an incredibly touching storyline. It was beautiful. It was it was not what you think of when you think Xbox. Right. And that is Xbox's fault. When you think of Xbox, you think Gears of War. By the way, that's my new brand. I'm
making 2000 something, man.
I'm sorry, but every time I answer my phone now, I don't care who it is. I'm just gonna say Gears of War.
That sounds like a commercial for like monster truck racing.
Yeah, no, that my mom would be
Grave Digger.
Grave Digger. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, I want to. You were right when you said I misspoke about Ensemble being dropped this gen. That was in 2009. My bad on that.
Yeah, click back.
I know my stuff.
Anyway,
I don't know. I'm just like, take some fucking risks,
Yeah.
You know what? That's why
that we have to take some risks. Yes. And they have to start doing some things. Like I made a suggestion a couple months ago that, okay, for your numbered Halo and Gears, okay, do your usual thing for your mainstay, but have enough teams to be able to come out with additional content on spinoffs that do something different. Like this Gears, that's kind of like an XCOM style of gameplay. That's a good idea, but let's take it a step further. Let's have like a third-person perspective, ODT, what do they call them? ODST.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like take Chief out of it and make it something a little different. And
some of the live chat said, "Give Chief a son."
Give Chief a son, or maybe a puppy.
Boy.
No, Sam and I talked about like, what if you had like the Halo world is very interesting still. There's a lot going on there. And what if you did like an RPG like Mass Effect?
Yeah, that would be awesome in that world.
Around Halo. That would be amazing. And for and with Gears, it could be as simple as maybe it's time to introduce some new enemy types. We kind of been fighting the same, locusts over and over again.
Well, and that's
and then even with introducing new characters, you still ended up making it about Marcus.
Well, yeah, and that's getting back to my point of how Microsoft is listening to the wrong people. Like there are other people on other podcasts that I won't mention here who say, there is no fucking criticizing Xbox. If you fucking criticize Xbox or you criticize their games, get the fuck off my podcast. Get the fuck off Twitter if you criticize. But the things we love don't improve unless you criticize them.
Correct. I agree.
Unless I love my PlayStation, I love my Switch, but you guys remember when Jim Ryan said, we're looking out for the kids? I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Jim Ryan hasn't been allowed to say anything else in a long time.
Good, he's an idiot. But we have to be able to criticize the things we love, and that gets back to the point of, Microsoft came into this generation like Sony did in 2006, with their fucking head held high, thumping their chest, carrying that banner, and look what happened. They fell and stumbled flat on their face because none of these companies refuse to learn from the past. Nobody wants to learn. Nobody listens to the lessons of the past, right? And Microsoft, unlike Sony, has not been able to regain their footing. It took Sony a few years during the 7th gen, but they were able to do it. Mm-hmm. Microsoft has not done it yet. Because this is the age of YouTubers and Twitch streamers.
Correct.
And as much as I don't like it, there are Xbox executives who listen to these podcasts, and they think that by just spoon feeding the same Halo and Gears experiences over and over, they're doing their fans a service, but they're not. They need games like Dreams. They need games like Detroit Become Human. They need games like Horizon. That's why PlayStation is selling as well as it is, because you have a fucking smorgasbord. Yeah, that's right. I said smorgasbord of fucking games and genres to choose from. If you drop a genre, it's on fucking PlayStation. I guarantee it. Name anything and it's there. You can't do that with Xbox.
Well, to be completely honest, Sony took a page right out of Microsoft's 360 book and just ran the gauntlet. Think about what they're doing right. First of all, and again, I am an Xbox guy first, but I am the first one to salute and tip my hat to a company or that is doing the right thing by their fans. First and foremost, even when Sony had all of these games delayed, they were dropping second-party bombs that you could not find anywhere else. Not on the PC, only on the PlayStation, right? Okay, the Personas and all those, the Neos and the Nier Automatas and all those games that might have only sold, 2 million, 3 million, they still were moving consoles.
Yeah, I mean, people don't think about this, but there are countries that play video games outside of the United States.
Yeah, that is correct.
And in Japan, Persona moves fucking consoles.
Yes, it does.
Persona moves fucking consoles. Final Fantasy moves fucking consoles. Dragon Quest sells fucking consoles.
Only on the PlayStation, by the way.
Yeah, all of these are only Final Fantasy on Xbox now, but it's so associated with the PlayStation brand. No, it might as well not be. Like Kingdom Hearts, I guarantee you will not sell anything on the Xbox. Yeah. At least not in Japan. Not in Japan, it won't.
No.
But these, I don't know. It is, and honestly, like looking at the E3 slate we have for Microsoft, in just a little over a week, I don't see anything. I don't see that they've learned. I don't see that they've changed. I don't see that they're making that effort to. I mean, I am giving serious consideration to selling my Xbox, and I just bought it 3 months ago, but I don't play it. I don't have a reason to.
That's a shame because it is a fantastic console.
It is.
And they do offer, like I said, the one thing that they continue to hang their hat on that's very disappointing as a fan. Again, I consider myself a diehard fan. I was here from the OG Xbox. I still have my OG Xbox. In fact, I have the green Halo clear one worth a ton of money. I have my Star Wars 360. I have my Gears 360. So I'm a fan. So, but when I hear that all they talk about is services, I almost want to vomit.
But that kind of ties into, I think, the direction as Microsoft's heading as a company.
Yeah.
So isn't it like where Sony's so reliant on the PlayStation division, Microsoft isn't as reliant on Xbox, and isn't it like almost Xbox has to kind of find its way or get to the teat, if you will, of Microsoft and kind of,
suckle at the teat,
Yes. They basically have to make themselves relevant.
Yeah. Microsoft. Well, I mean, look, the way I say it is like this, and I'm not sure. I'm so sorry that I don't remember who said that they're moving most of their stuff onto the next gen. I mean, they're basically chalking this up as a giant L, and I think they know that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there are still 30 plus, maybe 35 million fans that went out and bought an Xbox that are sitting here like, okay, guys, we get Game Pass. I do like it, whatever. I like all the services, but I kind of need games for our video game box. I'm just throwing it out there. And hanging your hat on backwards compatibility as your main goal is unacceptable. Not having a lineup that is worthy of being able to say, okay, our full lineup of these 4 games, come and get it. It's frustrating. It is frustrating. And I got to be honest with you. I'm a half full kind of a glass dude. I look at everything, life, video games, love in the positive, and I am disappointed at times, and that's just me. That's just the way I am.
Yeah.
But when you're telling, when I hear these things about, well, listen, guy, I got news for you, E3. I don't know. I'm still trying to stay strong. Like, for instance, for me personally, the two big goes that gets me to jump off my couch is, one, we finally going to get a new Splinter Cell, and I have heard that it's going to be an exclusive. There you go. There's that. And I want a proper Killer Instinct too.
You're not going to get that.
Well, there you go.
John's like
I'm the fucking Grim Reaper of E3.
All his dreams right there.
Yeah. But you are so that was something else I meant to bring up. You can. I don't know if Splinter Cell is going to be there, but I can tell you right now it's not an Xbox exclusive in any sense. And by the way, you're going to see Xbox exclusivity for third parties, like whether it be games or content, drop off a cliff, because
they don't do it now. So
and why would anybody do that now? I mean, it's so far behind now. I mean, why wouldn't you want your, you don't want to lock your game onto the losing console?
I agree.
Yeah, you would be losing sales by doing that, because if someone who say like, what is it, like 2-to-1, more than that actually, PlayStation install base compared to Microsoft. So
yeah,
if you decide to do exclusive content for an Xbox, and they're just going to lose sales, period, because someone's going to be like, well, if I only have a PlayStation, I'm not going to deal with the fact that I can't get certain things and still pay the same price.
And, like I said, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but, I mean, there's no Killer Instinct 2. I have heard there's no Fable at E3 this year.
Again,
I'm not as sure on that as I am. I can tell you right now, there's no new IPs. There's none of that.
Unbelievable. Like, I was expecting.
What would be the purpose of, like, what if you're working on Fable? Just go up there and announce it. I don't need a trailer.
Yeah, what happened a couple of years ago when the Switch was about to come out? And what did they do? It nearly melted the internet. Metroid Prime 4 shut the lights, and the internet went insane. Right?
That was the most exciting moment of E3 for me.
But I'm just saying,
for a lot of us it was
it was a picture, folks, and that's again they're selling hope.
And that's the thing, like that picture gave me an erection.
Okay, this
isn't a family friendly.
This is a family show. My kids are listening to this right now.
But no, they're not. And if they're not, I'm calling Child Protective Services. But no, like, I mean, yeah, in all seriousness, like, I think you're on the money. I think Sony sells their customers hope.
Yes.
And they don't like that. Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes that backfires, like the Year of Dreams. We all remember the Year of Dreams in 2015. We still don't have Shenmue. But you know what? It kept the fan base thirsty for years. And Microsoft just, well, we don't want to announce games until we have them. Well, that's nice, but it's not working.
Right.
And look, I mean, Sony paraded, Shenmue 3 out, and that's been delayed since 2019. We haven't really heard a lot about that game.
And word of mouth equals sales.
Yeah, but
while I was watching the conference, I went on to Kickstarter and I backed that game. While watching, the minute they announced Shenmue 3, I went on and I backed that game. So I don't care.
Oh, God. The fucking Blackhawks were in the Stanley Cup Finals, and I stopped watching the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, I was like, Jesus, holy fuck.
I just, you know what? Like I said, I'm still gonna go into E3. I'm excited for every conference. I like what Sony's doing. I think that they're really going about it in a weird, different kind of a Nintendo-esque kind of a way. And listen, I called it. I'm sorry I wasn't, I didn't know about the other show, because I would have gladly jumped on for that. My two surprise predictions for Sony is we have one more thing. They're going to announce, they're going to show the world that yes, they can do multiplayer, and they're going to announce a new SOCOM, and they're going to bring back Siphon Filter, and one of their main studios is going to do it. You'll see.
I would seriously rein that in on both accounts.
Yeah, I would put the brakes on that.
Again,
I would love it. I would love a new Siphon Filter, but
Siphon
filter. Yes.
I would. I am in full agreement with Sam. We've heard a few things, and I would not expect to see those in any way, shape, or form anytime soon.
Yeah.
Those IPs aren't dead. Well, okay, never mind. SOCOM is fucking dead. That's not coming back. But Siphon Filter is not dead. But you're not going to see that for a while. You will get Death Stranding gameplay at E3.
Yeah, I'm interested to find out. I mean, look, it's going to be like a Metal Gear game. I was like, I don't know what that game's going to be. Listen, it's going to be like Metal Gear. I like his work, so I'm in.
Let me ask you guys something. For those of us who own Xbox One X's, and Boom, to your point, man, I've been there since the OG Xbox. I was a beta tester.
Oh, that's awesome.
And beta tested Xbox Live, and so for me, it's been it's like you ever have a friend that like just went downhill and you watched him go from like, high school, QB all-star, whatever, and now he's smoking crack.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I do have a few instances where I did see people like that. So yeah, your point is extremely well taken, and that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And I'm at a point now where, depending on how this E3 goes, I can tell you right now, and this is the first time I've ever thought this. I've had this thought in my mind about Xbox. I'm not buying a new launch day. I'm not buying a new Xbox.
They would have to have some serious first party muscle behind it, like the old days, where 3 out of the 4 games were complete A+ games.
Yeah, well, they'd have to give me an incentive to upgrade. I mean, I just upgraded.
Right.
They're not getting any more dough out of me.
And and my understanding, the X is going to be forward compatible anyway.
Correct.
As they're leaving quote unquote generations behind, or they're not doing traditional console generations anymore. So they're going to have to really show me something for me to say, you know what, I'm going to go out and buy or upgrade. But I can say that I'm already locked on. I'm locked in on a PS5 already.
Yeah, I mean, I've again, you guys don't know this. I'm the old bastard in the room. I'm going to be 48 in September, so I've been gaming for 40 years. I picked up my first controller in 78. So yeah, I got
little Atari action.
Finally, somebody's older than I am.
Yes, yeah. I got a lot of years on this body, and I have purchased. And again, I'm not rich by any stretch of the truth. I was a blue collar dude my whole career. Always blue collar. But I have purchased. I mean, again, I'm disappointed with Xbox. I'm disappointed with Microsoft. I'm even disappointed with Phil Spencer. I think the guy is very nice. I just think that, they say things and they just don't come. They don't come through. But I have purchased literally just about every console. It's ridiculous what I've purchased over the years. So I will buy the new Xbox like an a-hole. But again, it's. Listen. I get it. I'm the jerk in the room because I'm going to buy another Xbox, and just because I'm a stupid fan.
If things continue the way they do in the next generation, do you think that something like Nintendo or PlayStation could supplant Xbox as your console of choice next gen?
I was always a PlayStation guy. Like PlayStation 1, I had 8 months before anyone in the States had it because I imported it. And it's PlayStation, nice. Yeah, PlayStation 2, I had it 7 months before anyone in the States had it. I imported. I used to import everything, dude. I would just jump back to the PlayStation. My biggest problem is the controller. But I'm not sure if you guys saw a video I did on the Onyx. It's basically an Xbox One controller for the PS4.
I did see that.
It's fantastic, but my only issue with it is it's a little light. They did. I'm not sure if you guys saw that new Scuff controller that they have coming out. That's $200. It's kind of like their Elite, but it's set up like the Elite. And if I could use an Elite type controller on the PS4 or let's say the PS5. And Xbox kind of shit the bed, so to speak, it would be no problem jumping into the PlayStation because, again, I still like my trophies. I think I'm level 13 now, and I don't really play it. But, I use my PlayStation 4 for just exclusives. But unfortunately, if a fan like me, who's an Xbox first guy, who's supposed to be, bleeding green if you cut me, if I'm willing to walk away because they're not giving me the games, then they're in big trouble. Because that's the only thing that's holding that console afloat right now is their diehard fans.
I also
nobody
have
here.
I also have that whole. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Slomo.
I was going to say I also have that Horionics. I do like it. My two issues with it is it doesn't have motion control. So
Correct.
when I tried to play it with Detroit, the parts where I have to move the controller to do certain commands
didn't do it.
Yeah, and then it doesn't have the port for for wired headsets.
Right. That's why that Scuff controller has all of that, but it's also $200.
Yeah, which is like I'm not but for me, I would say that more likely Phil Spencer, if we ask Phil Spencer the same question that Enrique asked about, getting the next Xbox, that he will probably say, if you have a One X, you don't need the next one. I could actually picture him saying that, because if you think about it, the 35 plus or whatever million Xboxes that are out there, the vast majority of them are the OG Xbox One or One S. Yes. Very few people have the X, and so if the next gen system comes out and it's more likely going to have games that are going to run well on that One X and that new system. We're probably, and almost I would say anyone on this panel has an Xbox is probably a One X, because this is what we do. We buy and upgrade stuff like that.
I mean, I've got a One S, but that's because my wife is like, it's that or nothing.
Like for the vast majority of us, it's like this next system really isn't for us. It's for the other 35 plus people, plus all the another 35 plus that bought a PlayStation but never bought an Xbox this gen. It's for those people, which it is what it is. And I always buy the next PlayStation, the next Xbox. I know I'll buy it. It's just when I'll buy it is when it will be the big deal for me. Even for me with PS5, if it's not backwards compatible to PlayStation 4 games, I'm not getting it day one. So it's for those, so I'll get them eventually. Like with the PS4, if it's not backwards compatible, I'll get it once my backlog is done, and then I'll pick it up. For Xbox, I'll get it when there's enough of a reason, and there's enough games where I'm like, okay, that game runs 4K 60 easy. Meanwhile, on my One X, it's I'm dealing with issues. Maybe I'll pick it up at that point, but it's for me, it's going to happen at some point. It's just when it will happen and where they bring into the table. Because if they really bring it, and if they hold off games, to 2020 or whatever, then maybe I'll pick it up.
Yeah. You were to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, so nobody on this panel thinks that Microsoft is coming in as the underdog and can surprise everybody.
Oh yes, absolutely. That is definitely my wheelhouse. It's just that when you hear insiders saying that they kind of heard that that don't expect this, it is a little disheartening, especially as a fan. Like I said, I'm the hopes and dreams. I don't know. I'm really going into this E3 expecting nothing, but it's secretly wanting to be blown away. I just hope it still happens.
And that's the thing. That's the thing, right? Like everything I've heard could be wrong. I hope I get to eat crow, because I don't want any of these companies to do bad. I want them all to do well.
No, of course not.
But when you hear as many things as I have from the people that I have, I'm 99.9% confident in my assessment that nobody should be an incredible E3 out of Microsoft's, which makes the advertisements of this biggest one we've ever done. It makes it even more frustrating, because it just comes off as completely self-absorbed and tone deaf.
Yes. Well, you know what? Before jumping on this podcast, the two games, if you would have asked me and said what two IPs do you think you're almost definitely going to see there, I would have said Perfect Dark and Fable. Simply because it's literally from the beginning of the new year, it was like, okay, this team's working on this team's working on that. I figure, okay, they have to sell some sort of hope to not only get people interested in maybe purchasing a system, but be like, but the fans that have been hanging on by a thread, we're going to throw you a lifeline. It's not coming out soon, but here you go. Here's a trailer of a guy walking down a path kicking a chicken or something, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, and I've said this before, all I want from Microsoft this E3 is to show what we all know they're going to show: a Gears game, maybe some news on Halo, Forza Horizon,
Right.
whatever, the usual. But I wanted announcements. Like, I wanted to see an announcement about Fable. We're going to see the announcement about, Gallagher's new studio. Fine. I wanted to see an announcement about Perfect Dark and at least give some hope of what is coming in the future. If I don't see those things, I'm going to be on the fence of Phil needs to go, because he's not learning from, he's not adjusting and adapting to where this gaming industry is and what he needs to do in order to sell systems, in order to keep his community from going to the other side. Now, is he going to go? No, because the dude just got promoted. So he's got at least 2 years at least before, Nadella is going to look at him and be like, I don't think this is working out, because you get promoted. I mean, pretty much, I think Myerson kind of helped him out because he kind of extended his time here, by making the mistakes that he made. So
right.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say this is Phil's fourth E3 as
yes,
as a prominent position in Xbox or whatever, and it's just funny because ever since he took over, almost every E3 was, well, this is Phil's E3 without Don Matrick. This is the one. This is Phil's E3. So is this officially Phil's E3?
This is the first official E3.
Yeah. This is the one.
So this is the one now.
This is the one with zero Matrick game.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe is Crackdown still a Matrick game?
I don't know.
Well, I wanted to answer B's question. I always go in with a glimmer of hope for anybody, especially I love to see underdogs come back and
like Nintendo.
Bring it.
Yes.
Sam and I actually talked about this too. And I said the same. I said
Yeah.
with everything Microsoft has in place already, from the services to the backwards compatibility, everything else, the linchpin that they're missing is the game.
Right.
If they were to deliver one or two games that just made people made their jaw drop, they would actually be in a point where they could have Sony kind of pivoting.
Yeah,
backing up on their heels a little bit, because now. Because right now, everything that they kind of put forth, people it kind of pales in comparison, because at the end of the day, I don't care what anyone says, it's about games, right? Yes, they have games. Yes, there are some things that play, but it's is it appealing to everybody, right? Everybody, especially when you have what you consider the most powerful console, everybody wants something that's jaw dropping.
Right.
You want to be able to see that, and then when you have your competitor who keeps producing these games where everyone's just whoa. But you're over here well, we have backwards compatibility, and we have this, and we have that. Those are all fantastic. But if you partner those with a game that just made people go, what? Then it looks like you're a juggernaut.
Yeah. And it's like Boom said earlier, they haven't produced that crown yet.
Yeah.
And they really have the most powerful console. And it's why not take advantage of that?
Well, I got a question for you guys, and I'm kind of interested to hear, with what we've already talked about with E3 possibly not producing anything other than the Gears spinoff. If we walk away from this E3 and there's nothing, we don't get the Perfect Dark, or we don't get anything new that we think we're going to get, because I don't know if Ori and the Will of the Wisps is going to launch this year. I doubt it. I think it's going to be next year. So as it stands, I'm looking at my list here. This is what their fall would look like as it stands. Below, Ashen, Forza Horizon 4, and the Gears of War spinoff possibly. I got to be honest with you. That might go down. I thought last year's was poor. That, you're talking about two, technically arcade games, right? Because they're not going to sell them. They're going to be digital titles. And the Gears spinoff, which we don't know what money's gone into that, if that in fact is even going to happen. And we know we're getting Forza Horizon 4 because they've already said that they're going to show it behind closed doors. That might be the worst fall of the company's history.
And then
I don't think so, though. I don't think so.
No, I was about to say, I don't.
If you compare that to last year, You know what I mean? Which
that's better than last year.
Last year was pretty bad.
Yeah. But especially throw in the last night because you forgot about that as well.
Yeah, Forza Horizon has already eclipsed what Forza Motorsport does.
Oh, I'm a huge fan. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
That game is going to be huge for them this fall.
But
if you look at Ashton has definitely been built up more than what it was initially thought to be. It's not just the basic indie game when it first came out. People have been highly anticipating below. So that can also be a key factor for them in the fall. And then I think they're also with the Gears spinoff. It's rumored to be like the XCOM thing, which XCOM 2 was huge. So it was the first XCOM game.
It was, but
those games could be appealing when you put them in the Gears world.
They could be, but here's the thing: Halo Wars 2 sold like shit. And it was a great
that's a totally different game. How many people were hyped about XCOM?
That's
versus
true.
How many people are hyped about a standard RTS game?
But I think there are going to be people anticipating a Gears announcement, and when they get whatever this Gears spinoff is going to be, they're going to be like, "No, fuck that. We want Gears 5." That this is not
anybody who wants Gears 5 right now is retarded.
Oh, I agree. Completely.
They're completely retarded because you just got Gears 4. You're not getting Gears 5 this soon. So people who are anticipating Gears 5 right now, they're fucking retarded.
But you know how gamers think, and here's the other problem. Here's the other problem with
oh my god,
and Sony runs into the same problem too this fall. I think is that. Take those lineups and then measure them up against the fucking juggernaut that is the 1-2 punch of Smash and Pokemon.
Yep.
Because I don't care.
The thing that Nintendo just did this year has set them up for years to come.
Yeah.
Because what they did was essentially just they gave you a big game in Smash, which is going to be a tournament fighter, which will supersede any of the other Smash games that have been out. It's a mobile game that's going to play just like any other console games.
Hey,
then they do the remake of Yellow, which is not a full RPG game, but it still has Pokemon in the name.
Well, it's not. It doesn't even matter. That game's going to sell a bajillion fucking copies.
This game's going to sell a bajillion copies. So then next year, if they deliver Metroid Prime 4 with the traditional RPG Pokemon game, it's a wrap. So they got it on lock 2 years in a row.
And I can tell. Oh, and plus, you just mentioned you've got that core Pokemon RPG dropping. That'll be their big marquee game next fall. You probably got fucking Mario Kart 9.
Did you guys see that document that dropped with their E3 plan?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Bullshit.
Yeah. It is, but okay, because I'm saying if they show this, I know that the two big characters that are supposed to be added to Smash are supposed to be Simon Belmont from Castlevania and Ridley from Metroid.
I'm not going to say that's not going to happen, but that document that's floating around, I know what you're talking about. It says Nintendo E3 show.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Metroid Prime Renegades. Get the fuck out of here. That's nobody. These documents don't. No.
I'm not going to lie, John. It won't happen. But if any of those names, like Yoshi's Flipping Island or Metroid Prime,
Yoshi's Flipping Island,
I'm literally just going to start DMing you a bunch of ha-has and laughing.
I know I will. But I'll tell you right now, Yoshi. So here's the thing: every game on that list is it's not a hard guess. I mean, we know Metroid Prime is going to be there. We know Fire Emblem's going to be there. Yoshi's going to be there. Of course, Smash Brothers is going to be there. I can tell you right now, Star Fox is real.
Yeah, that will be there.
150% real. F-Zero is not.
That's you know what? Sadly, that was out of everything on that list. When I saw it, I was like, oh my god, finally a new F-Zero, and now it's not real.
I personally have heard Punch Out is real, but it's not going to be called Punch Out Be the Champion. Which, if you think about it, with the Joy-Cons, Punch Out is a perfect fit. I have heard from 3 people that I trust. And I don't know if Sam has heard the same, but Metroid Prime Trilogy will be there.
Oh, that'd be good. I would listen, but you see, that's what happens when you put out incredible first-party, strong titles. Think about this for a second, guys. They put out Mario Kart. It's probably somewhere around 10 million copies sold on the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I'm gonna say this right now. The closest to 1-to-1 with systems sold and copies of the game are sitting is Mario. I am telling you right now, Smash Brothers is going to trump that.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, think about this. I mean, Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart 9 are still in the top, or Mario Kart 8, excuse me, are still in the top 10 every month in the NPD. Every month.
Pretty impressive, yeah.
Every single month. And I mean, there is a thirst for fucking Switch games right now.
Yeah. I need to interrupt real quick, John.
Yeah.
For station break identification. B Money's rant was brought to you by Boar's Head Meats.
Oh my God.
Deli. Go ahead, John.
Bring in the ham.
Yeah.
Bring in the ham.
You gotta pay those bills, man.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. That list. Yeah. No. A Star Fox a Lylat system? Get the fuck out! No.
I heard that there was rumors of a Star Fox driving game.
So it's going to be more akin to Diddy Kong Racing.
Okay.
Like a hub world that's going to have bosses. I'm really excited about it because it's
it's something different.
Well, and that's going to be Retro. That's Retro Studios' game. And here's the thing about Retro Studios is that one, they don't make bad games.
Nope.
And two, Retro Studios has a reputation for taking games that or franchises that need to be shaken up and turning them into gold. They did that for Metroid. They did that for Donkey Kong, and now they're going to do it for Star Fox.
Guys, let me ask you something real quick. I mean, outside of maybe Nintendo first-party exclusives, how many of us are really focused on first-party stuff this fall with Red Dead Redemption coming out?
I am.
Whatever Bethesda, has planned. Some of the big bangers are going to come out this fall.
Smash Brothers is it for me. I am more excited about that than anything else.
I can tell you, I don't own a Switch, and
boo this man.
There have been probably 2 games that I've thought about. Like I would play those games. So far, I'm not a big Pokemon fan, and so for me, the Switch is not that big a deal. That Gears game, the spinoff seems pretty interesting to me. But like Red Dead, I'm there. I'm actually been kind of apprehensive about this fall because it's just like I got so many games to play already, and then all these games are coming out. I'm like, oh crap.
So I mean, I'll tell you right now, Smash will outsell Red Dead.
That's a spicy take, John.
That's spicy. I can't tell people, man. As much as people keep talking about Red Dead, man, people was not on Red Dead that heavy last gen. I don't care what nobody says. That game didn't start selling until people start hyping it up.
Yeah, I agree.
No, you're right. It didn't really take off till later on.
Yeah, but now that it's a bigger name than it was, it was a brand new IP last gen. So now it's a bigger name, and
I still don't care how big the name is. The game ain't gonna sell. It's not gonna sell like people think it is.
Yeah, no, it's not going to do GTA 5 numbers.
I was just going to say it's not a GTA 5. I mean, it's a great game, and it's probably going to be a fantastic story, but it's not GTA 5.
No, but not being GTA 5 is not a failure, not by any stretch of the definition.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely.
But Western games also don't appeal to everybody either. So it's definitely in its own lane. And I mean, it's going to sell well, but people think it's going to blow the doors off. And I'm just trying to keep their.
But I mean, we got publishers moving their games out of the month where Red Dead drops just to
people just went all around Red Dead. You know what I mean? You got shooters all around Red Dead.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing is like Battlefield ain't moving, Call of Duty ain't moving.
People moved out of November. They're not moving out of October, which is when Red Dead 2 launches. People are moving out of the way of Nintendo and Bethesda.
Yeah.
If anybody is smart, if your game, so Pokemon comes out November 16th. Call of Duty comes out when? November 3rd.
Call of Duty's way earlier this year.
Is it earlier this year?
Yeah, it's October.
I think it comes out before Battlefield.
If
Call of Duty, Battlefield, then Red Dead.
If your game comes out anywhere near Call of Duty, Red Dead, or Pokemon, God help you. God be with you, because it's just not going to happen. Yeah, then again, I'm weird though, right? Like my most anticipated game this year is Octopath Traveler. So what the fuck do I know?
Yeah, it's definitely one of mine.
Yeah. Fire I agree. I'm right there with him. That's a day one buy for me.
What Octopath?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, it's so fucking beautiful.
Jesus. Looks good.
Yeah. I was really hyped for Borderlands 3, and then now I don't know what's going to happen.
I had all these games I was going to talk about. I was looking forward to, and John's like, no, that stuff's happening.
I have actually heard Borderlands 3 is going to be there, no matter what Randy Pitchford says.
You can't. This is why I said to Enrique, you cannot trust Randy Pitchford for anything.
I mean, he's a magician.
He's a magician.
He's a good car salesman. There's no doubt about it.
He will say, I still remember the lie he told about Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel not going to the new systems. He's like, oh, no, they're going to stay on last gen. Literally 4 months later, they announced them on the new systems. I'm like,
that wasn't Randy.
Well, I mean, we know it's coming. I mean,
at the end of the day.
Walmart is apparently the fucking ultimate insider, and you know, I mean, we know it's coming. Mm-hmm. I mean, it better be fucking coming. They'd be foolish not. I mean, that game sold gangbusters, and they need another. You know, after Battleborn, they need a success.
Well, they had back-to-back flops. Remember, Aliens and then Battleborn.
Yeah, and Aliens was their fault. That was absolutely their fault.
I actually met him at a PAX at PAX.
Randy's a nice guy. I mean,
he's a gentleman. You speak to him. He's very nice. And I sat in the tank, watched the demo. I was like, "Wow, this is amazing! I can't wait for this game." And wow, but yeah, they definitely need a winner. And Borderlands 3 will definitely be there. I remember there was originally that leak where Microsoft had the rights, and he came out and said, "Nope. Who's talking about rights? No one has the rights." Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Yeah, guys. Let me ask you. We've all heard this rumor of maybe Microsoft combining Game Pass, Xbox Live together.
Yes.
Is that? Do you guys think that's going to happen?
You know, I don't know. I mean, listen. The thing is this. You know what I can see happening with that. Instead of, because everyone, and I mean everyone, it looks at the games with gold like this month. I'm hyped for Sonic Racing. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to front. But everyone is like, oh, boo. What you think about this for a second? They could logistically get rid of games with gold and just somehow tuck Game Pass in there. I don't know if they would increase the price and people would be okay with it. But I think it is definitely a possibility. It's something as an olive branch to the fans, I think.
Yeah.
I think the only way it will happen is if, like, let's say if you get Game Pass, then they may waive your annual, gold sub. That's $60 you have to pay, but only if you have Game Pass. Like if you don't do that,
a lot of lost revenue for them, though, right? I mean, I feel like that'd be.
Well, didn't they say last year they made $2 billion with a B dollars in Xbox Live subscriptions?
I believe that is true, sir.
So I mean, listen, I'm no mathematician. Remember, I'm just a blue collar guy, and I broke rocks for a living. So I don't, but I wouldn't be the one to give up $2 billion with a B. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. So say I don't. It's something that's been going around, rumor, and I know some people have made videos about it saying that.
I can see them not getting rid of the live per se but what I think they could do is they could logistically tuck Game Pass into it. Like if you buy live, you get Game Pass, and there's no more games with gold because every month there's 100 games. We are swapping out games, and first party games are involved.
But then they're also losing the revenue off of Game Pass, the $10 per month. That's actually more than what per customer than what they're getting.
That's doing well though. See, that's what we don't know. Is this a move because Game Pass isn't doing well? People like, for instance, I'm not going to front. The last couple of I'm good until I think September, but I didn't get it from Xbox. I went to eBay and got about 6 codes for $3.97.
Nice.
And I put them all in there, and I'm good to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm not paying Xbox to $10. I'm sorry.
That's very good.
Get that hustle on.
Oh man, he's talking my language.
It doesn't have the games that right now warrants the price.
Correct. Yes. Right. If there was a new first party game, and I'm not saying it has to be a $60 million game, but if you were getting an Ashen or a Below and you were getting, your State of Decays and your Sea of Thieves and your Crackdowns, and every month, even if it was an indie game, it was an exclusive to that console. You can justify the $10 because any indie game is going to be more than 10, and any AAA game is going to be 60. So you can justify spending the $10 like you would in a Netflix or a Hulu or an HBO Go or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've had indies launching in Game Pass day and
They
day.
do. They had Laser League, I think, is one of them that was this month.
I haven't played that.
I heard it's extremely good.
I heard
it's actually fantastic.
Ooh, I have to check that out.
Yo, what was that dwarf shooter? That co-op dwarf shooter that
something Galactic?
Yeah, that should have been in Game Pass.
Yes, and you know what else should be in Game Pass that was just announced? No Man's Sky should had been announced.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is gonna bomb. Yes. It's gonna bomb otherwise. Like no one's gonna get that.
I don't know about with that update coming. I don't know about that.
There'll probably be a slick million people that buy that game.
Yeah, I see it.
I put 90 hours into the original. I loved it. As bare bones as that SOB was, I really enjoyed it.
That update is going to be incredible.
Yes, it's supposed to be.
Granted, it's how the game should have shipped, but hey.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys something before we wrap up. We talked a lot about what we think might happen, and I think John, again, you kind of rained on my parade, but that's okay.
I was gonna say, do we have any predictions still?
I guess not. I mean,
anybody?
Yeah. Do we have predictions or
bring
maybe
your box of Kleenex, everyone?
Yeah.
I think Microsoft still got some tricks in their bag, man, and I think they definitely
tricks. You mean like they're going to bring out some tricks on stage? I'm confused, but
I think Phil's definitely been in his bag, man. He's been talking about it the last couple of years how he fixed services, he fixed the console, now it's games. He made that trip over to Sega. So
do we get Persona 5 maybe on Xbox?
I don't see Persona, but I could definitely see them doing
Vanquish 2 maybe.
I don't think Vanquish 2 is ever going to happen. Unfortunately,
they're doing the Dreamcast initiative.
Yeah, I mean they could be doing anything, man. I don't put it past them at this point. I mean, when you come out and say that your show is 2 hours, like what E3 show is 2 hours long?
Nothing, none of them. So long as
their show was just shy of 2 hours, but they had the console to contend with. And
they're going to have some escape room.
Every other show.
Oh my god!
E3 show is 90 minutes or less. So when you start getting up into that 2 hour range and your console has already been announced and all that stuff is over, and they keep saying that this is going to be the biggest E3, and they take it to their own Microsoft theater. Like you don't make those moves for nothing. You don't make those moves to only show up with the stuff that everybody already knows about. So I think they definitely they'll have some third party stuff there, some big stuff that will be seen first on their stage. Sort of like what they did with Anthem last year. But I think they'll have a couple of exclusives in there, even if they're second or third party. I think they definitely have to go in that bag, and all the first party stuff will wait until next gen.
All right.
I'll give you a bold prediction. I'm going to predict that one of these third party games is going to launch in Game Pass.
Oh, that'd be fantastic, dude.
That's a spicy take, man.
Yeah,
I got one real quick before we go. I'm calling it. I've heard rumors of it, but I'm going to call it Banjo-Kazooie 20th anniversary redone from the ground up.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
if they treat it like they did Ratchet and Clank, and you know what I mean, and
God, there's a fucking
treatment.
There's a game I can't believe we haven't had a sequel for.
Then they can do some things with that, and that fits right into the mold of what they've been doing the last couple of years. They could release it for $40, release it in that August window.
Yep,
or drop it on Game Pass.
Eat it up. Yeah.
All right. So Boom, any other predictions? Is that the main one?
No, you know what? The only other, that was it. I mean, my Killer Instinct one, and the other one that I was kind of shot down. I took off, and the minute I got the little air, boom, Battlefield hit me, and I was down. But it's cool, it is what it is. I'm going into E3 still a half glass full kind of a dude. Yep. And I really hope that that all everything that we've heard is wrong. I hope that we walk away from E3. Like I said, I want to have an instant where I jump out of my chair and go, yes, that is finally the underdog really took a bite out of the world. That's what I'm hoping Microsoft does.
Yeah. All right. E, what about you, man?
I don't know. Bold prediction wise, I just want to be surprised with something. That's all I can say.
All right.
Yeah, really, honestly.
All right, cool, man. Sam, what about you, man?
Well, a lot of what I was going to say has been mentioned, like Game Pass. I think you are going to see a huge push from Game Pass for them, and I would not. Let me put it this way. I'm not going to be shocked if a really, really, really big third-party game ends up on Game Pass. Let me put it that way. So that definitely is a possibility. Ashen, I'm going to reiterate this until I'm blue in the face, is a much bigger game than people think it is. It's especially to the Souls crowd. It's really going to appeal to people who like those types of games. So I think we would see some gameplay from that, probably a release date. The Last Night, a couple of those other games that, I know they're smaller, they're arcade, whatever, but you know what? They're also very different experiences. And Ori and the Blind Forest and Cuphead have both proved that they can be incredible experiences as well.
Yes, I agree.
So,
yeah. Okay. All right, man. Negative. What about you, man?
Gears of War.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
It's never. Oh my God! No, I mean I've pretty much said everything. I mean it's almost not really fair for me because I've got a really good idea of what we're going to see. I'll just say that I hope everything. I sincerely hope, and people like to say John hates Xbox. No, I don't, and I sincerely hope everything I have heard is 110% wrong. Because I not only do I want all the consoles to do well, I want everybody to be happy and get what they want. So, I hope that happens.
Well said.
Yeah.
Not confident at all it's going to, but I hope that is the case.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and predict Fable. They'll tease Fable.
Fable 4!
Oh my God. This man.
Kick that chicken.
Hey, John, does Fable 4 have karate chop action?
It worked almost everything. Like Nintendo, like Metroid Prime.
Rondo, it's got electrolytes.
That reminds me of something so 80s.
I know, man.
It really
does. For Smash Brothers, it's like Mario.
Do Radical Heights, because it is that perfect 80s thing.
It really is. Radical Heights.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Well, gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and wrap up tonight's podcast because I'm actually losing my voice now. These damn allergies. But Boomstick, man, it was a pleasure having you on.
Oh man, listen, guys, this was awesome. This was fantastic. I got to meet a whole bunch of new people that I would consider friends. Don't be shy to invite me back. It'd be my pleasure. This was great, guys. I really, really appreciate you asking me on the show, and this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, definitely. We definitely enjoyed having you on. We'll definitely have to get you back on. And it's always nice to meet somebody who's been gaming for a long time. I mean, I'm in my early 40s. John is 52.
Shut the fuck up. I'm 37.
I wake up some mornings feeling 52. I'm not gonna lie.
Slow-mo's 12. He's the young one of the bunch, but that's okay.
Hey. I'm 37, man. I don't want to get people thinking he just started gaming 2 seconds ago.
Sam is like fucking 15.
Yeah, my voice still hasn't dropped.
The youngster over here, the stripling.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I literally just got a Charlie horse sitting in my gaming chair doing nothing.
That's when you know it's real.
No, but it's always nice, man, to like meet people who've been gaming as long as we have, because it's funny. Like I talk to people at work, and they're like, "You still play video games?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, what do you mean still? I know a lot of people that are my age that play video games, so it's always cool.
It's amazing that in 2018 there are actually people that think like that. Like, oh, I can't believe that you game. Are you 10? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. The vast majority of gamers are adults.
Yeah, we're the only ones that can afford $500 boxes.
Exactly. We can spend the money that we earned on what we want, and we do it freely.
Yeah,
and since the very beginning, and it just stuck with us all the way from 6 to 8 years old, all the way up until now. It's the way it is.
Yeah. Hey, Boom, real quick, man. Where can everyone find you, man?
Well, listen. You can find me. You can find me on my YouTube channel. I do at least 2 live shows a week. I have Breakfast with Boom Friday mornings at 10 a.m. I'm one of the few morning shows. I just started something new this week called where I have like a pop-up podcast. It's called Boom's Pop-Up Podcast. And basically what I do with that is I'll get a community member. It could be someone you know, it could be someone you never heard of, because I do community spotlights as well, where I'll take someone from the community, I'll ask them a bunch of questions, and I do a whole bio on one of my videos at the end, introducing them to the community so they can get followers and they could, be one of the gang, because I like supporting other people. I don't care what gaming box you play on. I support everybody because I think that's the right thing to do. And I love this community for it, because there's a lot of negativity that goes on, but there is so many unbelievable cool people that I have met over the last year. So if you're interested and you've never heard of me, check out Double Barrel Gaming. Just type that in on YouTube. I think in the last 6 or 7 months, I've surpassed over 120 videos. I do live unboxings, and I'm on Crossfire Podcast Friday nights with on Mooch's channel if you're interested.
All right, cool, man. Cool. And I did provide your Twitter handle too in the description below. So.
Yes, Mr. Boomstick XL. And again, if you want to hit me up on live, if you want to hit me up on PSN, it's exactly that, Mr. Boomstick XL. And if you go to my channel, you'll see I'll have all my Switch information if you want to hit me up over that way.
Sweet. Awesome, man. Well, again, it was a pleasure having you on, man. We'll have to get you back on again soon.
Yeah, thank you. This was great, guys. This was awesome.
And Sam, man, great having you back on. Where can people find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at Samuel Tolbert. I keep it really, really, really easy if you want to find me. My Twitter channel has been a little empty lately. We've been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work, getting the new website set up. We've overhauled a ton of stuff. The website has actually just gone live as of about 30 minutes ago, an hour ago. So I'll just put a link in the description, or not the description, but in the chat if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I'll be back to spamming your feed with lots of news, opinions, reviews, things like that after E3, because I'm actually going to be heading out in a few days. Got a lot of really, really big top secret appointments to go to, so That's pretty exciting.
Nice,
that sounds great.
We'll have to get when you get out of the weeds, man, of E3. We'll have to get you back on, man. Love to get your take on the experience this year.
I'll be sleeping for about a week when I get back. So you'll have to wait for that.
Right.
Yeah, and I hear
John knows what it's like when you get back from one of these events.
Oh yeah,
I hear you,
especially
man.
when you're not there. Especially when you're there working. Actually, PAX this year I didn't play. I played 1 or 2 games on the floor. That's all.
No, it's when you're actually running back and forth to appointments and actually accomplishing things. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, man. Cool. And actually, we do have a link for Inner Circle in the description below. So definitely check out the new website as we are an official affiliate of the Inner Circle Network. So definitely check out the website. Sam just dropped the link to in the live chat. And Megadeth, man, great having you back on.
Yeah, man. Everybody who listens to this by now should know where I'm at, but just in case you don't, on Twitter I'm at Mr. Megadeth, all M's. You can find me on the podcast Superdeformed Gamescast. I'm the creator and co-host. We go live every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Got a lot of big stuff coming up. Of course, this year at E3, we'll be there with press passes for the first time.
Nice.
So I won't be there, but Zach, Jay, and Finn will, and they'll be covering the show from the floor for us, and we'll be streaming it with Wout, our buddy Hashtagonist, back in the rear. So we'll be doing that. Tomorrow night, we got Matt Piscatella from MBD on to give the monthly NPD rundown, which is 1 week late. And we also have our good friend Amanda Farrow on. And what else we got coming up? Oh, yeah, and the week after E3, Mike Huber from Easy Allies will be back on for the fourth time to give a kind of a rundown of what we saw.
Oh, nice.
And in June, we've got Brittany Brombacher from What's Good Games coming on.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
She's awesome. We got to hang out with her extensively. Her and Andrea. We got to hang out. We actually had dinner with her and Andrea Renee at PAX, and they're just both incredibly fun, cool people. Andrea will be coming on after Brittany.
Nice.
But we got a lot of big stuff in the works, so please be on the lookout for that, as Square Enix would say.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Definitely forward to that.
Excited.
Please be excited.
Yes. And B Money, where can people find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter and all your local gaming consoles at the same tag, B Money 101. And you can find me on the Inner Circle podcast on Saturday nights, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time with my buddy Sam there and Cal and my boy Anchor over there. So come through, check us out, man. This week I think we're doing are we doing the Xbox prediction?
I believe we are.
Yeah. So we're doing Xbox predictions for E3 this week. So definitely come through and check that out.
Sweet, man. Definitely look forward to that. Slow-mo, man. What about you? Where can people find you?
People can find me with the same name on Twitter, Slow-mo Backslap, and can also find me on the Scumcast with the Asher Luca at the Asher Luca channel on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Yeah, she keeps receipts. So
yes, she does. She really does. Eric Jackson. E, what about you, man?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, EC Jackson with an X. And also you can find Sam and I on Saturday nights of The Gaming Perspective with Nick and Jarrett of Tick.
Sweet. All right, awesome. All right, big shout out to everyone in the live chat again. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by and hanging out with us this evening. Again, great conversation. And everyone, enjoy E3. It's around the corner. More importantly, enjoy whatever video games you're currently playing. And we'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be talking about those video games again. So other than that, we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Thank you much.
Now that's the way you end the show.
Exactly. All right, everyone. See you.